following the events of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 8, where it was revealed that Himawari has Biju Chakra. More importantly, that there is a strong possibility that she might have Kuruma's Biju Chakra, since Jura had mistaken her for Naruto when he was sensing the Biju Chakra that is coming from Himawari. The idea that Himawari might be the new Jinchuriki for Kuruma might mean that the Nine-Tailed Fox is returning to the Boruto series in the next few chapters, even though I don't really think that this is the case, and I think that this is more of a Ginkaku and Kinkaku situation. It doesn't mean that Himawari is a Jinchuriki. The strong possibility of Kuruma returning so early in the series has reawakened the argument of whether or not Naruto's Baryon mode transformation was an asshole and there was no merit to its existence, even though I believe that this is way too soon for Kuruma to return to the Boruto series. The notion that Baryon mode was an asshole is just ridiculous. There was a lot of significance surrounding Naruto's Baryon mode transformation, especially in terms of what it meant for the narrative and how it impacted the development of the story going forward. The main arguments for why people think that Naruto's Baryon mode was an asshole is that they don't think that the transformation was set up enough before it was showcased in the series. The other argument is that they don't get how Kuruma suddenly had knowledge of nuclear fusion. They don't believe that there was a merit or any need for Naruto's Baryon mode to exist. In order to see whether or not they have an argument here, we need to first go over the setup for Baryon mode and how Kuruma suddenly had knowledge about nuclear fusion. Then we're going to look at whether or not Baryon mode should have existed and how it impacted the plot of the story. The easiest way to understand how Naruto's Baryon mode transformation was set up is to look at it similar to how you would look at the 8 gates transformation of Gai Sensei. The way that the 8 gates form of Gai Sensei was treated is similar to how Baryon mode was also treated. Both of the transformations were meant to be endgame and only used in high stakes scenarios, where the user is either guaranteed to sacrifice their life for it or walk away with irreparable damage to their body in a way that they will never be able to pull off that transformation again. It is something that we are going to see only once and never going to see it again, as long as the form packs enough power to defeat the enemy at hand and give the user victory. This is why I don't believe that any of the 2 transformations needed to be heavily set up in the story before they were showcased. Unlike Naruto's other transformations, for example Sage mode or the other KCM transformations and Six Path Kuruma mode, Baryon mode was never supposed to be a transformation that Naruto was going to use for significant moments in the story going forward, except for the time he used it against Isshiki. The setup for Naruto's Sage mode was Jiraiya Sensei's death, as well as the need for him to get stronger in order to be able to deal with the threat that was Nagato and the 6 Paths of Pain. Naruto and the Toad Elders from Mount Myoboku knew what kind of threat that Naruto had to go up against. Jiraiya Sensei couldn't defeat them even though he was as strong as he was, so Naruto needed a power boost in order to be able to compete. Thus he was taken to the land of the Toads and taught how to gather and use nature energy. They even taught him how to use the taijutsu that is used by the Toads, which is Kumite. Because Naruto had Kuruma inside of him, he had to figure out a way to gather nature energy without the aid of the Toad Elders that made it possible for Jiraiya Sensei to transform into his Sage mode form. So through the description of the Toad Elder saying that staying still to gather nature energy while moving is like trying to look left and right at the same time, which is impossible, gave Naruto the idea to use shadow clones as a substitute for gathering nature energy while he uses it to fight. Thus Naruto had awakened his new Sage mode power, with the drawbacks of him only being able to maintain it for 5 minutes, because the nature energy he gathered from his shadow clones was only transferred to him when the clones disappeared. It wasn't continually flowing to the main Naruto when his shadow clones are stationary and still gathering the nature energy. Naruto was able to use the transformation to defeat the 6 Paths of Pain and also used it to fight his enemies going forward, until he managed to gain control of Kuruma's chakra. And the period when he learned Sage mode was also the time that he met Minato for the first time. That is when he learned that the 4th Hokage was his father. This was the setup, the significance of the transformation to the plot, and how it continued to aid Naruto as the story kept going forward. Then we got to the war arc of the Naruto manga. This is where we saw Naruto's Kuruma Chakra mode for the first time. The way Naruto gained this transformation was by confronting the hatred that was within him and training with Killer Bee and the 8 Tails on how to control his Tail Beast chakra. The thing that was so captivating about Naruto's KCM transformation was that he not only had to fight for this power with Kuruma in a chakra tug of war, But it was also the first time that Naruto met his mother, because of the chakra that she had imbued into the seal that Minato used to seal away Kurama inside of Naruto. Naruto met Kushina and even got a chance to learn more about his parents' love story and more about the circumstances surrounding his birth. The KCM transformation was associated with all of that, and Naruto's promise to Kurama that he is going to come for all of that hatred that was inside of Kurama too. Naruto did exactly that when he refused to side with Madara and Obito. Naruto decided to stick to his convictions and never go back on his ninja way by acknowledging the existence of the Tail Beast as beings with their own personality, feelings, and thoughts, not just weapons of mass destruction that are supposed to be exploited by the shinobi. This is how Naruto gained the trust of Kurama, and the Tail Beast willingly chose to cooperate with him because Naruto reminded Kurama of the Sage of Six Paths, which was hailed as the god of shinobi and the person that gave life to the Tail Beast by splitting the 10 tails into 9 parts. Kurama choosing to fully give his power to Naruto is how Naruto gained his second KCM transformation, that he used to not only protect the shinobi forces, but also fight against his enemies. These are all the things that are associated with Naruto's KCM transformations, and how significant they were to the plot, and continue to be a source of power for Naruto as the story kept going forward. As for Sage of Six Paths mode, he was given the Six Paths mode by Hagoromo Otsutsuki, in order to not only save his life but also give him a fighting chance against Madara Uchiha, who had absorbed the 10 tails into himself and became the 10 tails Jinchuriki. The biggest weakness against the 10 tails was Sage Chakra. This was after Kurama was separated from Naruto. Naruto eventually managed to get Kurama back, and this is how he had the Six Paths Kurama Chakra mode. Now fast forward to Boruto, and he uses that mode to fight against threats like Kara and the Otsutsuki. That power was more than enough to be able to handle those threats, until Naruto and Sasuke had to fight against Jigen, Isshiki's vessel. Jigen defeated Naruto and Sasuke with their combined power, and that is when it was evident that the two shinobi needed another ace up their sleeve in order to be able to overcome this new threat that is Jigen, or more specifically Isshiki Otsutsuki. This is where we see Naruto and Kurama's final transformation, which is Baryon mode. This transformation was a result of Naruto and Kurama's chakra converging and getting consumed, creating a new type of energy that is used to power the transformation. It is similar to nuclear fusion or how the sun produces energy. Yet Kurama didn't explain the entire concept of nuclear fusion. He only mentioned it in passing to make an example. The difference between this mode and Naruto's KCM transformations is that they gather energy from elsewhere and use it. Baryon mode consumes Naruto and Kurama's chakra until one or both of their lives run out. This is an endgame transformation where all the stakes are put on the table and the ultimate sacrifice will be made. This is why Kurama told Naruto to get rid of all superfluous thoughts so that he can maintain Baryon mode for as long as possible. The mode gives Naruto speed and strength that is comparable and even higher than Isshiki, with incredible perception and the ability to deal significant damage to an opponent by shaving off a piece of their life the more Naruto's hits are connecting. This is possible because all chakra is connected. This is how Baryon mode was able to siphon off Ishiki's chakra. And one thing we know about chakra is that it is the life force of all living things, including the Otsutsuki. Nothing else was shown about Naruto's Baryon mode, like what other abilities it has, and how much stronger does it make Naruto's other chakra-based attacks and abilities. So the question is, how is it that this form is not an ass pull, even though it is somehow the perfect counter for Isshiki or the Otsutsuki abilities? It all goes back to Boruto Naruto Next Generation's Chapter 7, in the fight against Momoshiki. Momoshiki used his Byakugan to see into the future of Naruto and Boruto. Another thing that Momoshiki foresaw in his prophecy of the future is that it is a shame that Naruto has all that power but no means to pass it on to the next generation. That was the first indication that something is going to happen to either Naruto or Kurama. Also that no one else is going to have the power of the 9 tails after Naruto. Those are the two things that you need to keep in mind as we continue with the video. That is the first piece of the puzzle, that is the existence of Baryon mode. In Boruto Naruto Next Generation's Chapter 29, Naruto was explaining the concept of chakra to Kawaki. Naruto explained that all chakra is connected through the concept of Ninshu. It is a binding force that connects all living beings through their chakra. That still doesn't explain how Baryon mode was such a perfect counter to Isshiki Otsutsuki. That would be true except that Baryon mode wasn't a perfect counter to Isshiki Otsutsuki. The fact that Naruto's Baryon mode had the ability to shave off Isshiki's chakra was nothing intentional when Kurama thought of the transformation. It was purely coincidental because all chakra is connected. When Naruto was using Baryon mode and it was draining his and Kurama's life force, every time his attacks came in contact with Isshiki or Tsuki, it also shaved off Ishiki's life force as it was taking the life force of Naruto and Kurama. And this was possible because again, all chakra is connected, meaning in the simplest of explanations, Baryon mode drains all chakra that it comes in contact with from all living beings. This is why we only saw Naruto using mostly taijutsu to fight Isshiki, and using less chakra based attacks because he wanted to use this chakra or life force draining side effect of Baryon mode to its full advantage, especially against an opponent as strong as Isshiki or Tsuki, who also had only a few hours left on Earth. So Baryon mode's chakra or life draining aspect was met with the perfect conditions for it to be exploited. Therefore, it was purely coincidental that it seemed like Baryon mode was the perfect counter to Isshiki or Tsuki. Another way that the mode was advantageous to Naruto was that because he needed to use taijutsu in order to make direct contact with Isshiki or Tsuki, he also avoided giving Isshiki the chance to shrink or absorb his attacks. To emphasize this point even further, the life force or chakra draining ability is not a specific ability of Baryon mode. It is a byproduct of how the mode is maintained by draining chakra and the life force from the use of the transformation and any other living being that it comes in contact with. Therefore, it became somewhat of a perfect counter against Isshiki or Tsuki by sheer luck and not by design. As for the significance of the transformation to the story, Baryon mode was the manifestation of Naruto and Kurama's will of fire, as a transformation that was supposed to be endgame and defeat the enemy once and for all, at the cost of Naruto and Kurama's life. It was the embodiment of Naruto's resolve as the Hokage to protect the village and Kurama's resolve to give his life for Naruto, showing us how close that Naruto and Kurama have gotten and how deep the bond between them is. More especially because the price that was paid for Baryon mode was Kurama's life instead of both Naruto and Kurama. The nine-tailed beast made sure that he gives his life for Naruto so that Naruto can keep on going. Something else that people also didn't catch about Baryon mode is that it was also a way to pass on the torch to the next generation. Even though it was intended to be the power that was going to defeat Isshiki, it didn't even manage to do that. It only dealt enough damage to the point that Isshiki was on his last legs and Kawaki was able to finally put an end to his life once and for all. Before Jigen or Isshiki or Tsuki, Naruto and Sasuke were the ones dealing with the biggest threats in the Boruto series. So in order to remove them from the picture, it was necessary to sacrifice the source of Naruto's power, so that there's a legitimate reason why Naruto and Sasuke were not the ones dealing with the major threats in the Boruto series going forward. Keeping Naruto alive and only sacrificing Kurama with Baryon mode transformation was done so that Naruto could get sealed away with Hinata by Kawaki. That way, both of Boruto's parents, Naruto and Hinata, can be out of the way and fulfill Momoshiki's prophecy that Boruto is going to lose everything. That was part of the start of Momoshiki's prophecy manifesting. Otherwise, it was never going to be possible for Kawaki to seal away Naruto and Hinata if Naruto still had Kurama. And Boruto wouldn't have lost his humanity when Kawaki had taken his life and Momoshiki had to revive him. So those are the factors that are surrounding the existence of Baryon mode. The fact that Baryon mode also had an element of unexpectedness to it is what made it even more impactful. For anyone that was closely following the Boruto story, we knew that something was going to happen to Naruto and Kurama. Not knowing how it was going to happen and then being hit with the reality that Kurama decided to sacrifice his life to save Naruto and the both of them were not going to make it out together made it all the more emotionally tormenting. With all that in mind, how does it not make Baryon mode an asshole? The mechanics of the transformation were in line with the law of the story, chakra being connected and Momoshiki's prophecy to Naruto. And Naruto also using it in the best way possible to give him an advantage and exploit the weaknesses of his enemy. That mode being the ultimate sacrifice and showcasing of how much Kurama had developed a bond with Naruto to the point that he would sacrifice his life to save Naruto's. Baryon mode not even finishing the fight and only ending it at a point where the next generation was the one to defeat the enemy, passing on the baton to the next generation and phasing out Naruto from the story by using the loss of Kurama's power as a justification. Also setting up and making it possible for all the events that will follow up in the story to be able to happen are the things that made Baryon mode an unexpected but absolutely necessary transformation. That is why Baryon mode is not an asshole. That is my assessment of the transformation, and I want to know what y'all think about all the factors that I mentioned. So we can get a discussion going in the comment section, and you can tell me what you think about Naruto's Baryon mode. Was it an asshole or was it a necessary transformation?